Is this the best UFO video ever recorded? I think this is a pretty special video, but I want to know what you think. Before we get into it, please hit like, please share, and as we're going through it, please comment below and let me know what you think. Oh, and subscribe. Now, I saw this video a few years ago, and I did not take it seriously at all. I figured it just had to be CGI. And once I started investigating UFOs, there was something about this particular video that just didn't seem authentic to me. But then that's me supposing I know how UFOs behave and the physics behind UFOs. So as we're going through it, I'll point out what I thought was the telltale fake part, and then we'll go from there. Okay, here's the video. Okay, I don't know what they're saying in the video. I would love to know what the helicopter is shouting at them. That might be important. My first thinking on this video was that it was, because I was trying to figure out why there were jets in a helicopter if it wasn't a UFO, because often the governments of the world will pursue these objects, and often they will get shot down or whatever. So that is the reason, if this were a real video, why the jets and the helicopter would be there. Now, if this was CGI added into an existing video, then there would have to be another reason for the jets and the helicopter to be there. Possibly a drug bust of some sort, possibly stopping a smuggling operation. So if the helicopter was saying, stop, the police are coming, or we are the police, submit to being boarded, that would be a obvious giveaway that that's what this was. That this was video of a drug bust that CGI UFO was just added into. But if the helicopter is saying something else, that would be significant. Okay, but let's watch the video again and slow down a little bit. Okay, so the UFO goes into the water and there's a big splash. To me, that was the telltale sign that it was probably fake. But that's me assuming that I knew how UFOs would behave. I figured that if these things could go in and out of material, water, earth, whatever, that they operated in a different physical way, possibly a trans-dimensional way or something where they could rearrange atoms, because that does seem to be a thing. They do seem to be able to rearrange atoms. So I assumed that they would not disturb the water when they went into it, because they weren't really interacting with the water. What do I mean by that? Well, when they go through the air, when they are going fast enough to create a sonic boom, but they don't, my explanation for that is that they are not actually interacting with the air. They are warping space and time around the ships, and thus aren't really touching the air itself, so they don't create a sonic boom when they're moving through it. Now, if they are not interacting with the air, then they wouldn't interact with the water either. It would stand to reason. So I figured if it was producing a big splash, it probably had to be fake, because it shouldn't be interacting with the water to that degree. But again, that's me supposing I know how the hell UFOs operate, and I don't. And I am the first one to admit that. I have researched them, I have studied them, I've read articles, scientific articles by Hal Puthoff describing their behavior. But again, my best guess is guesswork still. But let's go through the video again, or the relevant UFO parts of it, to show why I think that this is actually probably a legit video. We'll go even slower this time, only through the UFO part of it. Right there. Okay, so these little things come off of the craft and dart away before it hits the water and submerges, creating that big splash, which I always assumed meant this video was fake. But I had never seen it slow down before. Someone showed me it slowed down where I was able to see the little things coming off of it. And that really changed my thinking on this. I didn't think that was a detail a CGI artist would have added, simply because they were moving so fast you can't see them very well until you actually slow the video down. I didn't think a CGI artist would bother to add that detail that you can't really see until you slow the video down. And I still lean toward that way of thinking. I think this is probably a legit video. It's got the military jets, it's got the helicopter. You can see the guy pointing to something in the water. Now, you could say that maybe they CGI'd out a boat that was coming toward the ship, and then they CGI'd in the craft going into the water. So that could be what he was pointing at. I really am looking forward to the day when that new software comes out where you can actually run a video through it and tell if it's been tampered with digitally. That is actually a new software that's coming out in the near future, supposedly. That is going to be a godsend for UFO videos. Okay, let's look at it one more time in slow-mo. So what did you think? Did you find this video compelling? I did. I did not believe this video at first. For years I thought this was fake until I noticed those little things coming off at the bottom. And that really turned my thinking around on this video. Could that be CGI? Yeah, I suppose, sure. But that is a detail that I don't think a CGI artist would put in there. So I tend to believe this is probably an authentic video. But I've been fooled by hoaxes before. What do you think? Do you think this is CGI or is it the real McCoy? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please hit the bell next to it to be notified of future videos. Okay, until next time, Cosmic Road out. Update. I am recording this now after having filmed the original video because I have new information. It turns out the whole thing was bogus. It was made as part of a movie called Galician UFO. I will include a link to the making of video on Vimeo and in the description. This just shows how good CGI is and how easy it is to be fooled by a clever hoax or movie in this case. That's why the CGI was so good and so complicated, is because it was for an actual production of a movie. I still feel pretty stupid falling for it though, but what you gonna do? I do have some solace though in that I was possibly right about the physics of the UFOs and why I was originally suspicious of this video when the UFO created the big splash. That did not seem authentic to me, and I, may in the end turn out to be right on that. So I do feel like I have a little vindication there, also a little egg on my face. I thought about just completely deleting this video, but I decided to leave it up for instructive purposes, as much to myself as to anybody else. Probably best to avoid talking about civilian YouTube or Vimeo UFO cases, even if it looks really good. And there are some that I do believe are on the level, but it is too easy to get fooled by a hoax, or in this case, a movie production. Anyway, I have learned that sometimes it's best to follow your gut, and if it doesn't feel authentic, it's probably not. Okay, now for real, Cosmic Road out.